What do you think sells today?
Drama,
Pain,
emotion.
somebody's journey. Social media isn't life. It is a money-making platform.
What do you think is the biggest misconception that the public has about celebrities?
That they all have perfect lives. We talk about MS, Rohit, Virat.
Security was increased outside Mahendra Singh Dhoni's house.
Everybody has seen their fair share of criticism. They are constantly looking over their shoulders because there's so many others ready to take over their job in a second. And all it takes is...
What does it teach you about life?
I used to say I chase happiness, but I've stopped saying that because when you chase something, you go on chasing it. You never find it.
Is there any quality about Sivakarthikeyan that you really admire that the world does not know about him as yet?
I think it's very difficult to not retaliate when somebody is mean to you. I don't think he retaliates.
You've been in television, now in sports. Where are you headed next?
I think that I can bring a lot more to the table than just appear cute and dumb.
If not a presenter, what other career would you have chosen? We just finished shooting an amazing podcast with Bhavna, and I'm sure every one of you is going to enjoy it for two reasons. One, she gets to be with all these amazing cricketers from India and across the world, and literally we've spoken so many things about the mindset of the cricketers, like Dhoni's mindset, Kohli's mindset, what truly happens behind the scenes. And the second thing, she's been in this industry for more than 13 years, and her experience is phenomenal. From being a TV host to doing what she's actually doing right now, she's literally broken down every single aspect of how it is to present on stage, how it is off stage, and her life in general. I thoroughly enjoy this conversation, and I hope you enjoy this podcast too. Before even we get started, right? I grew up watching your shows. That does not mean you're old. It only means how many years of experience you've had.
But if I had a rupee for every time somebody said that to me, I'd be a billionaire.
No, I still do. All the Jodi bloopers, oh my God, they're so hilarious. They're so hilarious. So even before I could ask you all these questions, what I really want to understand is, from our conversation that we had back in Mumbai, I really don't think people actually know the other side of you other than you being this anchor, you being this bubbly person. You're such an intelligent person. I mean, that is what I felt. Like 2.5 hours of conversation, the kind of things that we spoke about, and the way you look at things and your mindset and your perspectives about life, it's just so brilliant. What I want to ask you is, beyond the glamour, beyond you being an anchor, who's Bhavna truly?
It's such a deep question, honestly. Who is Bhavna? I think at the heart of it, I'm still a 10-year-old girl
Okay.
who would do anything to make my parents proud or my family proud. That honestly is me. And I think a large part of me is always wanting happiness in life. So even if you have a 10-minute chat with me, but you manage to make me laugh for 8 of those minutes, I will remember you for life. So I think I seek a lot of joy. I used to say I chase happiness, but I've stopped saying that because when you chase something, you go on chasing it, right? You never find it. So I want joy, I want happiness, and I want my parents to just be like the proudest and the happiest versions of themselves around me, and the healthiest, of course. So the heart of it, yeah, I think I'm just like a 10-year-old girl saying, "Ma, are you happy now? Appa, I did this."
That's so cute.
Yeah.
That's so cute. So now, if you look at your life in the last 20 years, right? Has your definition of success changed?
Yes.
What was it then? What is it now?
Very much so. I think in my 20s, I felt like I needed to be the best and the number one at everything I did in other people's eyes more than mine. I felt like I needed the recognition. I needed to be at the top. And I believed that I deserved it as well because I worked very hard for it, right? So I used to say, nobody deserves to be at the top if they haven't put in the hard yards. So I used to I still kill myself a little bit, but I like it. But then it was about just being perfect, wanting to be the best, and wanting other people to recognize it in me. But I think over the years, with lots of failures and some successes along the way, you realize that self-worth is so much more than what other people make of yours.
That's
So
true.
I think for me right now, success is when I can do my job, come home with a smile, and not feel tired when I wake up the next day, wanting to do more of that. I think that's what success is.
So when you were being hard on yourself, right? How did it affect you that you were not seeing it?
Well, I mean, I was crushed multiple times because not everyone gets to be seen as the best in the business, right? So when I was giving it my all, but I wasn't receiving that sort of support or love from the set of people I was working with, or they weren't giving me as much support as I thought I deserved, it is soul crushing. And 20-year-old me would turn to, say, friends or an evening out or time with family just to sort of calm herself down, to get back up and do it. And I felt slighted a lot of times, which caused a lot of unhappiness within me. And I'd always turn to my mom for it. She was always like my miracle woman, who within 5 minutes of us talking would just make me feel better, would allow me to see the larger picture in life. So I truly understand what she meant only later in life. It took me 5-6 years to sort of get here.
Is there any specific advice that your mom gave you that you still carry with you?
Lots actually, so many. She says one of the most defining things she's told me was success isn't just luck, but it's the point where other people give up and you don't. Right? So even when you believe that you haven't been treated the way you want to be treated, or you haven't been given your due, even when the kind of success that you've imagined for yourself doesn't come your way, try. Work at it, because one day it will. And now I see that it's true.
Yeah.
In your 20s, I think it's very hard.
Yeah.
Because there's competition, there's jealousy, you're pitted against another person or many other people. And I think that's such a tough, toxic environment. And unfortunately, in my 20s, I was right in the epicenter of it. In my 30s, it was a different case. I was in a more healthier environment, work-wise, where I received the kind of love and support I always yearned for.
Right.
So my mom was right. It's about not giving up even when other people would. It's about persisting with it, and one day things will change.
Right.
Because that's what you're saying to the universe. You're saying, bring it on, challenge me, I will survive, I will not sink, I will swim.
Yes.
And one day I will find the shores.
Yeah. I remember Mel Robbins speak similar lines where she says, if you give your 100%, if you're sincere with what you do, there is no freaking way that you'll fail in life. There's no way.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, that resonates so much. So you spoke about the toxic environment, especially in your 20s. How did you navigate through them?
It was really hard, Gayathri. I have to be very honest. I was all of 25, 26, very fresh in the media world. And I've never really opened up about this.
Yes.
Because my mom, again, I refer my mom a lot because I get a lot of my wisdom from her. She always tells me, and it's not just your mother, right? It's your entire family that tells you, never ever showcase the chinks in your armor. Don't air your dirty laundry in public. Even if there are scars, keep them hidden and reveal them to the ones closest to you. So that's how I grew up. I grew up saying, I will only portray my best version to the outside world. And if I'm struggling within, I will only let my near and dear ones know. But now I feel like I should be a little more open with my journey, because it has been almost 20 years of it. I realized that I was the preferred choice by some people, not the ones that I had to work with on an everyday basis. So that was very hard. because I wouldn't go in there happy. I wouldn't come back home happy. I'd want to quit on most days. The things that kept me going were family, my amma, who were just so supportive. My husband didn't know most of it. And if I complained to him too much, I was afraid that he'd say, quit. If you're so unhappy, quit. My parents knew my journey a lot more, and they'd known how much I'd wanted this. So they said, it's okay, stick it out. And you're tougher than other people. And I feel like a lot of my self-doubts that were created on the set were sort of alleviated by the audiences accepting me.
Okay.
So the show was huge. So every time I'd want to quit, I'd somehow get a sign from the universe where somebody would send me a mail. At that point in time, I'm talking about like 2011, 12. So people would only send me like mails, or somebody would send word across through a friend, or somebody meet me in person and give me some words of kindness. So I think that I was going down the right path. It was such a struggle. I would never want to wish it upon my worst enemy. And I don't completely blame the team. Maybe I didn't fit into what they wanted, for that show's host. So maybe they felt pushed, in a particular direction where they had to work with me. But all in all, it wasn't a very pleasant experience. But I learned a lot, and I got so strong because of it. So when I left that show, and today when people ask me, did you feel bad? Do you miss it? I miss the music.
That's so sweet. And it takes a lot of courage to be this vulnerable, right? After you've been through something that you've been through. And we spoke about this in length when we met in person also. So you transitioning from TV to broadcasting, what was the toughest thing that you encountered in this journey?
TV to broadcasting, meaning entertainment to broadcasting,
Yes.
sports broadcast. Oh, I was actually looking forward to it, but I was hella nervous because this is live television and it's a completely different industry. So your ignorance will definitely put you out of a job.
Okay.
And not just that, you come with a certain background so people know you.
Right.
You will be trolled. This
Right.
is the social media age. And I think those fears made me work harder. And I've always been a hard worker. I don't credit myself with too many things, but this I know. I work really hard. And I approach whatever I do with full commitment, because I believe that's how you should get into everything, which is you want success, you want joy, and you want to see yourself up there, then you put in the hard yards. Otherwise, it's not going to come your way, or it's going to come and then leave immediately. So if you want to sustain, and 17 years in counting, then you better be worth it. So,
were you this passionate about cricket even before you entered
No.
commentary? No.
I was actually quite ignorant about the sport. I
Okay.
used to watch it for fun.
Okay.
And even then, my husband used to watch a lot more than I did. And I used to switch off the TV when there was IPL because he used to watch too many games. And I mean, I used to only watch the CSK games. And I, had a few favorites. But apart from that, I wouldn't be really interested. I'm like, no, come out. Let's go hang with friends. But now it's obviously the other way around. But a lot of credit to my husband and my dad, and my father-in-law and my chitappa. So all the men in the family sort of came together to help me learn the sport.
Right.
If there's one thing that I think is a big flex for me personally, it's family.
Okay.
They've been such a huge support. I may have been in toxic environments. I may have had huge challenges. I may have met really rotten people in life, but I've always had a safety net, which is family.
Yeah.
So all these men just sort of rallied around me and said, you know what, you can do this. And I did it.
Yeah. So now we know what happens on the screen, right? Tell us some fun things that happen behind the screens.
Oh, loads.
Tell us some.
Loads. So initially, I used to be really nervous because you have countdowns, right? So you're watching the game, especially when you're doing a mid show, a mid-inning show, or a post show where you're analyzing the match. What happens is you're watching the game and you literally have less than a minute before they come back to you, and then you need to get your ducks in a row because you need to tell the entire story through visuals as to what happened in the innings, right? So I wouldn't even go pee if it's a T20 game because I'd be scared that I'd miss the action.
Okay.
So I used to get teased heavily for that, right? Because I used to be so scared. I used to be like, I used to wait for strategic timeouts.
Right.
It used to be 2.5 minutes. I used to run to the bathroom and come back. And over time, you realize that you don't have to watch every ball.
Okay.
Once you understand the sport, you understand that you need to watch the sport to talk about it, but you don't need to glue yourself to the seat. So I used to get heavily bullied for that. But all in fun, all in jest. I love my team. They're amazing. And you develop a great rapport with the cricketers. So you know how each of them is before the show. So if there's Chica, then he's talking to you about something completely different. So
Yes, tell us about Chica and your relationship. It's crazy.
It's amazing. I feel like I'm the daughter he never had. I'm just going to say that. No, I look at him and I love him like a father, honestly. He's such a wonderful man, and he makes me babysit him when we go on international tours. We've only gone on one, but those 20 days in Australia, I swear I babysat him. That's what I told his son Aniruddha Shrikant as well. And he's got the energy of a 16-year-old, and he is just such a positive character. He and Ravi Shastri. I've just seen such a similarity between the two of them where they're never negative to you. When you don't know something, they'll just give you a pat on your shoulder and say, that's fine. We'll take care. Develop balls of steel. It's fine. You can do it. And somehow you feel bigger. Like you just feel stronger and you feel like you can achieve more because of them. Because they are such legends and they think you can do it.
Yeah.
So you can do it. And that's what he did for me.
Yeah.
He and the late V.B. Chandrasekhar were the biggest reasons why I felt at home hosting a sport I hardly knew. So he's someone I'll always have a special place in my heart for. So he'll just, coming back to the fun stuff, he'll just talk about something absolutely random when the director and the producer are giving you counts. So they're going to be like 30 seconds to you, 20 seconds to you. And then I'd be like, Chica, 20 seconds. Tell me this. Finish this story. And I'm like, no, you will get by because you played this. This is in your blood. It's not in mine. It's in my sweat. So that's fun. And then sometimes, you have certain friends of yours who just go behind the camera and they'll make faces at you in your clothes. And then you'll have producers who you develop a rapport with over time. So when you actually make a mistake or stutter, they'll laugh in your ear, make the moment even worse. So yeah, but I can't imagine work without these people.
That's lovely. I think it looks like a fun set to
It's
be
a
on.
great environment, and I've cherished it and enjoyed it more because of where I came from.
Okay. So have you ever felt backstabbed or betrayed in your journey ever?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. I think all of us are at some point because somebody tells you something to your face and then says something else behind your back. And sometimes I feel like if you're somebody's friend and you feign ignorance at a critical point in their life, or you are uninvolved or detached from a problem that they're going through, I think that's even harder than somebody who's possibly your enemy, so to speak, or somebody who's possibly not a friend. I don't want to say enemy, so let me rephrase that. So I feel like there are friends and there are well-wishers in your head, and when you go through challenging or tough times where they can be there for you, they turn indifferent. They're detached, and I think that's worse than people who are in your face with you and tell you they don't like you or do something that is completely against your profession or you getting ahead. So I wouldn't call it backstabbing, but I think I faced quite a few situations where people I believed are my friends have just not said or done anything in a situation where I have been wronged. So, yeah,
What have these situations made you?
I'd like to say wiser and stronger. They have hurt me. They've made me understand people a little better. So, again, it's a 20 versus 30s thing.
Right.
In my 20s, I'd say I'm never speaking to them again. This is not what I expected from them. And I can't believe I thought of them as a friend. Today, I try and look at both sides. Today, I try and look at why did this person do that? Is it because they could have also lost out on something big in the process? Were they saving themselves instead of trying to save me?
Wow. Okay.
So I'm not angry anymore. I may not be able to deal with it as much, but I understand it. I understand where they're coming from. It's more like forgiving but not forgetting. So it's more like I understand why you did that, but will I be okay that you didn't do that for me? Maybe not.
When you meet them now, how do you interact with them?
I'm very, very, very polite to them.
Okay.
And if I need to be gracious, I will be gracious. And if I'm needed at that moment to be there for them, then I do it 200%.
Okay.
Because I believe that at some point, they will acknowledge or realize within themselves, they don't have to tell me, but they will realize that they could have done something to better the situation and they didn't. But this girl is still doing this for you.
Very nice. How do you look at karma?
Oh, it's a proper boomerang, is what I think it is. I think karma should be real. I think it keeps people in check. You do it out of duty. You do it out of fear. You do it out of care and concern. It doesn't matter. But if you're good because you believe that if you're not good, something bad will happen to you, I'm fine with that. Because ultimately, it forces you to be good and you choose good over bad.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
So, being on television and having a strong social media presence, I'm sure there are a lot of trolls that you have to deal with. How do you deal with the trolls?
See, sometimes it's soul crushing, honestly, because I think they take your biggest insecurities and use them to troll you with it. So I think it's almost like they show you a mirror, but you look like a demon in the mirror, or you look like the ugliest version of yourself in the mirror. And those are the trolls, right? But only if you choose to hold the mirror to your face will you see the ugliest version of you. When you realize that it's only in their heads, it's not a mirror. You don't even need to hold it to your face. Why do you need to put yourself through that? So I used to do it. I used to take that mirror and hold it. And I used to look at the ugliest version of myself. And I used to feel so bad, so insecure, and have a lot of self-doubt, question myself. My family has gone through a lot of crap and struggle because of trolls. I remember there was an incident where I had just offered my support to an actress for an ongoing situation that turned very political. And I was caught in the crossfire. I went to sleep and I woke up the next day and there was not trolling. There was targeting and there was abuse. And they had made an obituary for me. They had brought my family into the picture. My mother-in-law got calls from people, relatives from outside saying, is anything wrong with her? We're just seeing these really nasty messages and like these obituary posters. Is everything okay? And I was just married. I was about a year into my marriage and they were so strong. My in-laws were so strong. My husband was so supportive through it. And that's when I realized that it can get very ugly. And I don't think I've dealt with anything as bad as that.
Okay.
But that was enough. That for me was so difficult to get out of for a while because I have signed up for a public life, not my family, right? So don't bring my family into it. And it was only because they were all strong for me that I didn't get into any sort of I don't want to use the word depression lightly, but I didn't get into any sort of spiral.
Okay.
So it was a really hard time for me to overcome, and I did it. But that sort of gave me an insight into how bad it can get, right? And that is when I did some proper deep thinking and took some time to myself and realized this whole concept of this mirror that I've come up with, which is don't let it get to you, and don't let yourself think that you are the version that they have of you in their head, because you're not that. When you look at the mirror and you see yourself, you see a hardworking, intelligent, positive, successful, happy, healthy person. So why should you take their mirror and put it in front of your face?
So now the trolls don't affect you as much?
I laugh most of the times.
Okay.
I laugh because I'm like, how? What? You can't comprehend it. And if I think that it's borderline abusive, then I immediately block.
Okay. So what is the funniest meme that you've seen of yourself?
That I look exactly like Anirudh.
Oh God.
Yeah, that I'm the lady version of the music director Anirudh. You've not seen that?
No, I've not seen that.
What are you saying? It's so popular. I'll send it to you. But I do think, so that didn't bother me too much.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, being compared to a man would bother most women. It didn't bother me much because I think there's some truth to it. I do think we look similar.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I mean, I remember a time where I saw this meme of Kareena Kapoor, who I think is gorgeous, being compared to Tiger Shroff.
Oh God.
So that's fine. You know, men and women, that's why brothers and sisters look alike.
Yeah.
Right? So that's fine. If Ani looks like my brother, my little brother, or if I look like his elder sister, I'm okay. I wish I had his talent. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So when you were doing the show with Super Singer with not Super Singer, sorry, Jodi with Sivakarthikeyan, right? Is there any quality about Sivakarthikeyan that you really admire that the world does not know about him as yet?
His resilience. I think he is never somebody who will come in and rub his success on your face. If you've been nasty to him, he won't say anything. He will succeed, come back and still greet you with kindness. Because you knowing that he's way bigger than you or way bigger than you could have possibly imagined yourself to be is revenge enough.
Wow.
I think it's very difficult to not retaliate when somebody is mean to you. I don't think he retaliates. I think he just stays quiet and goes away and does his own thing. And success is that retaliation. So I think his resilience is what I admire.
All right. So it brings me to this question of reality shows. How much of the reality show is actually real?
So I've been a part of many reality shows, and I have to say that Star Vijay keeps it real.
Okay.
Star Vijay keeps it real. But there are moments that you enhance.
Okay.
So what do you think sells today?
Drama?
Yeah. Pain.
Yeah. Emotion?
Somebody's journey. And these are family audiences that are watching. Say kids or adults perform, right? Dance, music, anything. So you want to make them relatable. So you will press on the journey and try to reveal the challenges or the losses that they faced more than the happy moments that they've experienced. Now, what can this do? This is good for you as a channel because it creates those high moments for you. But what it also does is make the contestant vulnerable enough for the audience to relate to them. I remember that multiple contestants whose stories have had so much depth have been shared on the show. And they've been overnight sensations, not because of the songs or the talent that they have or the way they sing. So in a way, I think it's also helped these contestants, not only helping the channel or the show. So it's a double-edged sword.
Have you ever been made to say something or do something for the TRP that did not align with your values?
100%.
And
100%.
what did you do then?
I did it. I did it because I realized that I was already in a difficult situation personally, and I'm not proud of it. But when you're given an instruction by your director or your producer in a moment where it's a moral choice almost, where there's no way in hell I would have asked a particular question or kind of chabi the other person, just kind of go on probing into a particular emotion so that it reaches the climax. I would never do that in front of so many cameras, but if I'm asked to do it because that is the format of the show, there have been occasions that I've done it. But individually, I wouldn't do it in my wildest dreams.
So has there been any event or a situation where you were asked to say something or do something and you've declined doing it?
Yes, I have.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is there anything you can talk about?
Look, it's not something that's rocket science. It's just something that doesn't align with you. And beyond a point, I feel like some of these shows, there is a male-female anchor combination where the female needs to dumb down herself.
Yes.
And beyond a point, I was just not okay with that. Because it's not like I didn't know the answer to that question. So why would I say, I don't know? I'm not here to appear cute. I'm here to do a job. And I think that I can bring a lot more to the table than just appear cute and dumb.
Yeah. And also, especially when it's sports, right? It's majorly male dominated. And for you to be the lady there and do such a fabulous job, I mean, how did you navigate through this?
See, it's a completely different atmosphere in sport, right? Because you are praised for the information that you have.
Right.
You are respected for the hard work you do. There have been situations I remember where I would read a lot about a song or a situation or about a chief guest that we're having, and I'd be told, why do you care about all of this? This is not what we're focusing on. Why do you read so much? This girl just overreads. To a situation where I've been praised for the very same reason. They say, okay, Bhavna's here. There's no way she would have come here unprepared. So I think in hindsight, maybe this was a better environment for me to work in because this suited and aligned with my personality. Maybe that didn't align with my personality as much.
Okay.
Right? That's how I look at it. I don't blame anybody. I just feel like this is my karma. I had to go through this journey to get here today. And in the process, I've learned a lot. I was really angry with a lot of people. I have forgiven them. But you can never forget how they made you feel.
Exactly.
Right? So those emotions will always stay with me. The same way that my current environment does. I will always carry great memories from this place. And that's why I feel like I thrive more here. Because when I bring up a fact which is not spoken about or like a number that I've found somewhere and I say it on air, my experts immediately say, great, that's nice, that's interesting. Let's delve into that a little bit more. Let me give you a technical explanation as to why this has happened.
Okay.
And then it's a wonderful conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how sport is, which is why I love it.
And I still remember seeing you on television back in those days. Till today, you look so damn fit. What?
I didn't look fit back then.
No, you were fit.
No.
What is wrong with you? You were fit.
Okay, maybe I looked fit. I wasn't fit.
I mean, from what I saw on television, you looked very fit.
I have a small face, and that is my saving grace. It's been a boon and a bane.
Yeah, and even today, I remember you sending me a message saying, I finished my gym, I'm going to come. I'm like, oh my God, she has so much going on in her life, yet she finds time to stay fit, eat healthy. Talk to us about it.
It's a huge part of who I am. Honestly, it's come to a place where I need a workout to be in a positive frame of mind because that little achievement fuels me to go and achieve bigger things in life. So it's almost like when you get a workout done and you hit a new goal because you hit, say, 10 extra burpees, or you do, 10 extra kgs of weight training, or you feel fitter in that moment, it actually fuels your day to do so much more than you would have otherwise. And exercise is just the best way to release stress, get your me time, and also feel like you're working hard, you're pushing, and you're channeling your energies towards a goal. Right? I just think that people who exercise constantly are happy people. I do believe that. And see, there's so much problems in life. But once there's a health problem, there's only one problem. Right? So you want to be healthy, you want to be fit. And from a work perspective, like I said, if you want the job, you better be worth it. So if I want to be in sport, or if I want to do entertainment, I better look the part so that I feel worthy standing next to those people or speaking to, thousands and millions of people, because I know I speak content, but I do it looking good.
Wow. I mean, that is definitely an inspiration for a lot of us, because I know how much you work. I know your days packed, your weeks are packed, sometimes your months are packed, yet you find time to go to the gym, to work out, and to eat healthy. Talk to me about your lifestyle, morning till evening. What do you do?
I don't know if I eat very healthy. My trainer will certainly not agree with me. She's almost like a friend now. Her name is Saloni. And she's my virtual trainer. Okay. Because I travel a lot, I feel like I don't... I can't afford to have a physical trainer.
Right.
But she's just amazing. So I share a lot of my life's happenings with her. I tell her you're almost like my psychologist and my trainer at the same time. Because while I'm like grunting and, working out, I tell her, this happened today and I'm so irritated, or this happened today and I'm so kicked about it. So she actually knows, I think, more about my life than a lot of other people do. But what happens is, and this is, I think, a ripple effect, Gayathri. When you work out, you tend to eat healthy. And the only way that I can make any sense out of this is you've put your body through a lot, right? And your body, your muscles ache, and you do stretch yourself and you push yourself. So when you look at that gulab jamun, it doesn't look as inviting anymore. You're just like, I did 100 squats. Do I really want you right now? My muscles hurt and I want to keep it this way. I want to get stronger. If I have you, then I'm going to regret it tomorrow in my workout session. So, and you don't do it. And the days or the periods that I don't work out, I binge eat. Because I actually am a foodie. And I see that. And again, that's a ripple effect.
Okay.
I binge eat. I don't feel like working out the next day. I feel demotivated. I'm low on energy. I binge eat to be high on energy again, or for that dopamine rush. So I do something like that. And then it's a cycle.
Okay.
So the only way to break out of it, I think, is to fix your body and mind together.
How do you deal with your insecurities that you have?
See, I think insecurities evolve as you do. I don't think you'll have the same insecurity at every point of your life, unless it's got something to do with looks, right? Even that, you get comfortable with it. I deal with my insecurities by being so good in other aspects of my life that these don't matter anymore.
That's such a fresh perspective.
That's how I do it. So if I'm insecure about something, I either work towards it if I think I can overcome it, or I work at something else. Wherein if I get so good at this insecurity doesn't matter anymore to me. I don't even think about it.
Beautiful. So when it comes to media and storytelling, right? What is it one thing that you wish could be different?
I wish we could focus on the lesser known players as well.
Okay.
If you're talking about sport.
Yes.
And actually, why sport? I think the underdog, I think, gets spoken about because that's usually for effect.
Okay.
Something that Gautam Gambhir said in an interview resonated with me. What he said was, I've been a part of a World Cup winning team. And what I realized over the years is you only talk about the the captain or the stars. But you don't talk about the players that have scored the 30s and 40s consistently, that have played such a huge part in you winning those games in the league stages. You don't talk about a bowler who's taken 1 wicket but bowled so economically. Or somebody who's gone wicketless but has bowled the most economically, has been the best bowler, or who's contained the best batter. I want to create an environment where we treat everyone equally and we also shine a bit of the spotlight on these guys whose stories stay hidden.
Wow.
So that it was such a moment for me, because I've always felt that. It's almost like the disparity in wealth, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's the same thing with respect to our country or even world media treating their stars a certain way and ignoring the rest. And how are these people going to get there? It's only if you give them a little bit of attention, which they truly deserve. Have a little bit of space for
That's
them.
so true. So when it comes to creativity, right? Some people thrive really well when there are set rules, and some people thrive very well when there are no rules. What do you do unconventionally to keep up your creativity?
It's a very interesting question. I spend a lot of time with my friends, each of whom are crazy in their own way. So I make friends, and I've seen a pattern with this. I make friends with people who are completely self-made. And I don't do it consciously, but if I look at my friends, it's always been people that have come out of some struggle. They've come out of a struggle where maybe it's a single parent, maybe it's an unsupportive home, maybe financially struggling and then doing this. They've been multiple stories. So I feel like I automatically am attracted to people who are achievers, who are hard workers. And when you are an achiever and a hard worker, you're equally cuckoo. You're wired a little differently.
Yes.
So I spend a lot of time with these people, and that enhances me creatively. It can just be a dumb conversation with no substance, but it enhances me creatively. So crazy meets crazy, and some time spent with these crazy people creatively enhances me.
Nice. So I saw one of your posts recently. I mean, it was an old post, but it was pinned on your Instagram about you hosting the event, which is a pre-release of Jawan.
Yeah.
And you'd put out saying, "My first love, I love Shah Rukh Khan." I mean, he's an amazing star, right? So tell us about your interaction with him, not once, but thrice.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate that way. He's someone I learned so much from, because he is Shah Rukh Khan. But every event he does it with so much sincerity that before he gets on stage, he makes it a point to know the anchor's name. So to the audience, it looks like you automatically have a rapport. And when you hear Shah Rukh Khan say your name, you feel good. Like I said, there are people that make you feel bigger. He's one of them. So he'll enhance your performance without you even realizing it by doing something so small, with something so powerful. And that's what I learned from him. And when you look at somebody like Shah Rukh, that zest, that want, that greed to do what he loves and to do it the way he does, you understand you have a long way to go.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody who asks me, do you feel like you're a big celebrity now that you're in the media? I say I work with celebrities. And when I see such powerful manifestors, achievers, legends, I feel like a little atom in the universe, because I realize it's such a long way to go. You can't get a big head. Shah Rukh is one of my most favorite people to work with because of this reason. Because he, when he's on stage, is not a celebrity. He is there to enhance that show that day. And he will make everybody around him feel special. He doesn't need to do that. He's Shah Rukh Khan. But that is why he's Shah Rukh Khan.
That's so true. And of all the people that you've hosted with, right? who's been that one person who you've been in awe of? You're like, wow, it's so amazing. This person is so intellectually stimulating and it's amazing to work with that person.
MS Dhoni, for sure. MS Dhoni, because he's very measured in the way he speaks, but there's so much depth in what he says. I mean, he is from Jharkhand. He had to learn how to communicate this way because he was India's captain and he had to travel internationally. It's not something that he was taught growing up. So the command he has over the language in a way that with a few words, he can explicitly say something that I've been trying to say for an hour is incredible. That shows you his acumen, his intelligence. And I think he's someone who reads people as well as he reads games. He reads the match. I think he is possibly one of the smartest, kindest, most aware human beings I've worked with.
I mean, that is probably the reason why the entire country loves him, right?
The world.
The world. Sorry, yes, the
and
world.
my heart truly belongs to him.
Right. So Virat Kohli has a completely different mindset, which is still amazing. Dhoni has a completely different mindset. Like, how would you gauge both of them?
Apples and oranges.
Okay.
But I think Virat is turning, as in he's evolving in ways that I don't think I saw Dhoni evolve. So I think MS was a very aware person from the beginning. So you didn't see him evolve from his 20s to his 40s, right? But you actually see Virat evolving. And in his 20s, he was a completely different person. And he accepts the kind of youth that he had. And he talks about all the things he did right and wrong. In the 30s, in his early 30s, you saw a different kind of Virat. And now he's 36, 35, 36. You see a completely different version of him. I feel like he's closer to normal human beings in that sense, where you make mistakes, you learn from them and you evolve. MS for me is cut from a different cloth. Though Virat's achievements and legacy is not like any normal human being, but just the concept of you being a different version of yourself. I don't think I've seen MS go through as many versions, at least from my point of view.
Right.
Virat for sure.
So you work with so many celebrities and cricketers and all of that. What do you think is the biggest misconception that the public has about celebrities?
That they all have perfect lives. I think people are obviously understanding now that social media isn't life. And sometimes you only put the good out there because for a lot of us, more so for the celebrities, so to speak, it is a money-making platform. So in order to have your endorsements, in order to get the big brands, in order to make Instagram monetizable, you can't put out your bad days.
Correct.
Because you are looked at as an inspiration. So if you're having shitty days, or if you're having a huge struggle in life, or if you're just feeling hella depressed, okay, you can't put that out there because that's not what the brands are paying you for. They're paying you to look a certain way, be a certain way, to sell a certain product. So that's why you put the best version of yourself on it. It doesn't mean that's the case. In fact, I feel celebrities, especially sports people, actors, they are constantly looking over their shoulders because there's so many others ready to take over their job in a second. And all it takes to fall from grace is one bad movie or one bad season.
Yes.
That's all. You see it happening with the biggest of legends. You talk about MS, Rohit, Virat. Everybody has seen their fair share of criticism, right? So imagine their mind and what they must be going through. You don't see any of that. You assume their life is perfect and you assume their life is easy.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest misconception.
When it comes to sports people?
More so that. I think when you assume that once you're an India player, you've made it. Not always the case. What I see with most sports people is their shelf life is so limited. It's not like a corporate individual, right? Not like a corporate employee. Since a sports person's shelf life is so limited, it begs the question of what are you going to do after your retirement? You may have all the money in the world. And I'm not talking about a problem with finance. You've done the thing that you absolutely love from when you were a child to maybe your 40s. But there's more to life, right? And suddenly, the curtains close. You're not playing. You're not fit enough to play. You have to retire. You're not getting any gigs. The endorsements are dwindling. What do you do then? They go through an existential crisis, if there ever was one. And it's a really hard phase for any sports person. More so with cricketers, I feel, because the fame and the money is huge. And I feel really bad. My heart goes out to each and every one of them, because that can't be easy.
Yeah. And in the last 17 years, I'm sure you've seen so many people rise up to the peak and just fall down. And you've seen this enough number of cycles, right? What does it teach you about life?
That I'm glad I haven't hit the peak yet. just to be, funny about it. Because I feel like we're having such a serious conversation. I needed to break it. I think in any field there is. If your rise to the top isn't superficial and isn't too quick, you go to the top step by step and you make a journey out of it, I think your sustainability will be a lot longer.
Right. So people who just reach there really quick also fall really quick.
If they aren't careful enough.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it'll happen all the time. And I'm not saying that if you rise slowly, you'll also fall slowly. But most of the times, that's what I've seen. I've seen that when people work their way to the top, their ability to work hard also remains the same or increases. When people rise to the top very quickly, the amount of work they've put in is also less. The disappointments they faced is also less. So when the challenges come their way, sometimes people succumb. People don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of it because this happened so quickly.
Bhavna, one thing what I really want to appreciate you is 17 years in the industry, not easy. And you've just been the same, or you've just evolved so beautifully over the last 17 years. What's been the secret to this?
Hunger, thirst, a little bit of greed. I feel like I'm not finished yet. I feel like there's a lot more fuel in me. And I think it also stems from the fact that I go back to the 10-year-old girl in me. I believe my parents think I have a lot more. They believe in me so much. I feel like they must be right. So it's fueled by my passion and their dreams for me. That's really what keeps me going.
Every time you talk about your family, you just light up.
Yeah.
You just light up. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually jealous of that.
I would be too. I'm very, very lucky in life.
It's so sweet.
I always say that. If not anything, I have family in life.
So now you've been in television, now in sports. Where are you headed next?
So it's a very interesting question and we've had a lot of conversations about it. See, the only reason I even feel open to sharing a lot of the challenges I've faced in my life, especially on the work front, is because this is a little part of me that feels like I want to give back. I'm entering a new decade and I'm very proud about how old I am because I take care of myself. So I truly think age is just a number, but I'm entering a new decade and I feel like for a while now, I haven't competed. And I don't have that sense of competition in me anymore. And I used to have a lot of it in my 20s. A lot of it maybe was pushed upon me, like forced upon me because I was again like pitted against so many other people. by the people that worked with me. Maybe the lack of that external surrounding has made me feel a lot more confident and happy about where I am. But there is no sense of competition anymore. That has been replaced with a sense of wanting to give back. Now, I'm no saint, right? But I feel like I've just seen so much in the last 17, 18 years. And speaking, communication, according to me, is not just a skill. It can be a superpower, Gayathri. I really do believe that. So I want to do something wherein I can use a platform that I've been fortunate enough to have and experience over the years to make a little bit of a change in other people's lives. So if anybody wants to use communication as a superpower or, better their personal, interpersonal relationships or their professional status or find success in life through communication, I want to help. And most importantly, I know a lot of people want to succeed in the media industry. And I've seen the ups and downs of it. So I can probably tell them the tips and tricks as to how they can get there in a much quicker pace than I did.
Right. Okay, I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's going to be more like a rapid fire. I just want you to quickly answer them. Your favorite TV show you've hosted?
Oh, this is not even quick. Super Singer.
Okay. One cricketer you would love to have a long conversation with?
MS Dhoni any day. Or Ravi Shastri, because he has some stories to tell.
Okay. A dream show or event you'd love to host in the future?
I want to do something like Ellen DeGeneres, but I think I'll have to get a little more humorous for that. But I honestly think that I'd love to do a chat show because I think that as much as I love to speak, I also love to listen.
That's nice. If not a presenter, what other career would you have chosen?
Doctor.
Really?
I think I would have made a great doctor.
Why?
Look at me, just patting myself. I honestly think that this actually was not my calling.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought I wanted to be a teacher when I was young. And I think that's still open.
Yes.
The option is open.
Yes.
But I think I would have made a really good doctor.
Okay.
That's what it says in my astrology as well. Because I believe slightly in it. But whenever I go to a hospital or look at a certain diagnosis or, listen to something that my family has, because everybody goes through health issues, I find myself approaching it very differently.
Okay.
And I think that I would have really loved to have made a change or difference in somebody's life.
Do you just notice you have that pattern of wanting to impact somebody else's life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. What do you think that's about? I'll ask you because you are all things expert in this situation.
See, even the conversation that we had in Mumbai, right? So I believe that innate calling to help people in some way or the other that could make their lives better is very strong inside of you.
Yeah.
I think wanting to be a doctor is also coming from that space. I want to make their lives better. Wanting to be a coach by teaching people and helping them shine and use their voice as a superpower is also coming from that space because you understand this has so much potential. And when people become really good at this, they can actually outshine who they think they are.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you really have that innate calling and all of these years was actually preparing you for that.
That's awesome. That's just such a beautiful way to put it.
Because I always believe in that. I've been in this industry for 12 years. Absolutely had no idea I would be doing what I'm doing today. But I very strongly knew right from day one, whatever I was doing on that particular day was preparing me for something I was destined to do. Sometimes people may not know what their destiny is as yet. But if they truly follow what their heart says, it is going to direct them in the direction that they're supposed to go.
And what's more, when I've tried to help people in my own little way, I have a lot of happiness when I see them shine.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not in that competitive space anymore.
Yeah.
It's when I see somebody do well, I'm not immediately thinking, oh my God, what does that do for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, wow, they're awesome.
Yes.
And if I've contributed in any way, I'm going to be so proud about it.
Exactly.
So the time's now, no?
Yes, yes. Because when we are in a competitive mind space, we are in a scarcity mindset. If they have it, I can't have it. But when we are in an abundant mindset, when we see somebody else have it, we're like, oh wow, they have it, which means even I can have it. I mean, we all grow through that. And the point that you are in at this point of time, I think you're going to create wonders.
I think it's high times. I spoke about it. So I'm very happy to have done it here.
We're so excited that you chose to be here. I mean, we love you. The entire team loves you.
That's so sweet.
Everybody's like, yay, Bhavna's coming to office.
That's so sweet.
Okay, I just have 2 more questions. If you had to pick Sivakarthikeyan to host a show now, which show would you choose?
KBC.
Whoa!
That was quick. That was easy.
Yeah, that was nice. And the last question. If you could go back in time and change one aspect about your life, what would it be?
I would want to be less fearful, and that is an aspect of my life that I'd want to change throughout. I feel like somewhere I'm a scared little girl, and there are multiple things that I could have done in life if I just got rid of my fear a little bit.
Okay. And then we come to the end of today's podcast. And Bhavna, I am so glad that, this was an opportunity for me to tell the world what your other side is, because people have always seen you host shows, be the anchor, be that person there. But there's so much more depth and layering to you. And I'm really, really glad people will get to see more of this in the future, I'm sure, with all that you want to do in the next decade of your life. But I'm really, really excited for your journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think this is the point where I begin to be more honest about everything in my life. And it's only going to get better and better as I shape a workshop or a course that will help us create a community and grow together.
Yes, I'm super
Thank you,
excited
Gayathri.
for that.
Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you so much, Bhavna.